طيب. Inshallah, we're going to take some questions. Hopefully not too many or not too long. By Allah Azza wa Jall's permission. Ya Allah. All right, first question is from initials JS, Alexandria, Virginia. Assalamu alaikum. Is there a discrepancy between Fajr time on Muslim Pro app and actual Fajr Adhan time? No signs of distinction between the white and black thread at that time. I'm not familiar or aware of those apps. However, different scholars have different views on exactly when Fajr comes in and exactly when Fajr should be made. So perhaps that's the reason behind the discrepancy. And there is a scholastic debate with regards to the nautical calculation, the twilight, etc. There is. So go with the app that you trust and you feel is best. Wallahu alam. Tayyib, UK, from Leicester, or Leicester, UK. Initials UK. Sheikh, I've failed to find any incident in the time of the Prophet, Sahaba, or Salaf, or after them, and their plagues, viruses, them breaking the rules. So how is this acceptable for us? We've explained that before. Jazakallahu khairan. We've talked about this, some of the different new fiqh issues of the corona pandemic. And as I've said, I don't think that the corona pandemic is a plague. Allahu alam. Pandemic, but a plague? I wouldn't say that, and Allah knows best. And as we've said before, even if it was a plague, I think that there's so many different issues in which we cannot make qiyas. We cannot compare the two. And that's because the Muslims, the Salaf, as you mentioned, they were not under the protection, control, security, welfare, the well-being, the care of the kuffar. The kuffar did not tell them the rules, make the rules. The kuffar did not protect them. The kuffar, yani, I don't want to get too controversial or too deep or too scary, but it's a reality, guys. The non-Muslims, they didn't have navies and air forces in the lands of the Muslims. They did not dictate to the Muslims what is hygienic, what is clean, what is modern. So we can't even compare. The states is like night and day. The kuffar say this, that's what we do. Jump, we say how high. It's that simple. You want to keep your mosque open or you want us to shut it down? If you want your mosque to stay open, make the distance. Cover your faces. Only allow half the congregation. And if you rebel and say, no, I don't have to listen, okay, no problem. We shut you down. Did that exist in the time of the Prophet? Umar ibn Khattab? The Salaf al-Salih? Of course it didn't. The leadership was Muslim. Everything was Islam. So that's just the reality of things. If you don't feel that it's correct or it's acceptable, that's no problem. But if the masjid has to abide by certain rules and guidelines to remain open, then there lies no doubt that's the lesser of the two harms. And Allah knows, only Allah knows how many people come in the masjid that are not Muslim. Only Allah knows how many Muslims are in the masjid that are informants. We don't want to use any colloquial terms for informants or dispatchers. Some people call them rats. Some people call them other than that. In the mosque, recording the Muslims, reporting back to the non-Muslims. He has such and such amount of people. He talked about such and such. They do such and such and such and such. And all it takes is one person to say, they were praying foot to foot, shoulder to shoulder. It was 200 people in there. And next thing you know, the people come and shut down the masjid. So if you don't have to separate the roles, alhamdulillah, don't. We know that's the sunnah. It's not out of discussion. But if you have to, if you're forced, then that's a different story. May Allah help the Muslims. Ameen. Mahmoud G. from Atlanta, Georgia. Should self-help books be sought if with the will seeking Islamic knowledge? Self-help is like anything else of the dunya. Some things are good and wholesome, beneficial. Some things are harmful. Some things are useless, a waste of time. What's important is that people say you can't have a self-help book, or you can't just take this type of medicine or such and such. You can't get this type of therapy because it's not in the Quran and Sunnah, so on and so forth. That's fine. Advil is not in the Quran and Sunnah. Excedrin extra strength is not in Quran and Sunnah. Tylenol extra strength is not Quran and Sunnah. And there are so many different other things that people do on a daily basis that are not found directly in the Quran and Sunnah. So what's important is knowledge and science that is beneficial, that is useful, that's wholesome, and it does not hinder you from taking from Quran and Sunnah. You take it and you learn from it. Wallahu alam. Question says, FA from Michigan, USA. I've had a hard time sleeping. I even put the Quran on before I go to sleep and still can't. Any advice? Because I've been losing my hair due to stress and no sleep. I ask Allah to make it easy for you. Ameen. I understand how frustrating it can be not to sleep properly. May Allah make you patient upon that. And may Allah take it away from you if it's His will. And if it's not a will of Allah, may Allah reward you for your struggles and for your sacrifices. Ameen. Keep listening to the Quran. Recite upon yourself the Quran. Read قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Read the Fatiha. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Recite upon yourself. Make the ruqya on yourself. Okay? Remove certain things from your diet, inshallah. Put other things into your diet. Make for yourself a sleeping habit, a ritual. Same clothes, same time. All right? Ways in which you can get yourself in the mode of sleeping. Try your best to avoid sleeping in the daytime, no matter how tired you may be, how cranky or irritable you may be. Force your clock to recalibrate. Bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. And take anything which is natural and beneficial, which will allow you to sleep. And inshallah, it will come. The body will allow you to sleep if you do it properly long enough, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, and get the necessary help. The help in the therapy, medically, clinically, that will allow you to sleep, inshallah ta'ala. Wallahu alam. AE from Boston, Massachusetts. What is the Islamic ruling of calling kuffar by their chosen gender pronouns, i.e., men or women who want to be called they, them? How do we demonstrate to Muslim youth the dangers of supporting this narrative? Well, I think that you gotta make a difference between a professional setting and an unprofessional setting. So, as an argument, or for argument's sake, let's say you saw a transgender person walking down the street. Some people call them he, she, or whatever word they use. And this being, this creature, creation of Allah, is walking down the streets, 6'3", big broad shoulders, high cheekbones, hands like baseball mitts, okay, big feet, big knees, Allah musta'an, walking down the street, right? And it was wearing a mini skirt and makeup, right? And a halter top, right? And you said to someone, he or she, or you said it, all right? Versus you working in a place in which you have that 6'3" creation with the shoulders and the arms, the biceps, the big hands in a business setting. That's your coworker. That may be your boss, all right? And it says, don't call me he, don't call me she. Call me such and such, call me such and such. And you work in a professional setting or a courtroom or a hospital. That's a different story, okay? And they may take it just as offensive as you calling someone a racial name, a racial slur, because they're Irish or Jewish or black, all right, or Arab, all right, whatever they are. So, yani, it depends on where you are and what's the setting, all right? And it depends on who is in control. You educate your children. You teach them the truth. Me personally, if I was somewhere and, there was someone of some type of background or orientation and I had to deal with them professionally, you got to deal with them professionally. Good afternoon, hello, yes, thank you, have a nice day. Just basic professionalism. And your children, you teach them that which is correct. All help is sought from Allah, the Mighty and the Most High. Tell you. Khairan, inshallah. Question says, from initials MD, Atlanta, Georgia. Assalamu alaikum. Does the ruling of buying and selling gold, silver, hand to hand, as per the hadith of the Prophet, also apply to other precious metals such as platinum and palladium? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. In general, no. Gold and silver are special. Gold and silver have special rulings that other precious metals and gems do not have, such as zakah. All right? Platinum, what is platinum though? It's a precious metal, but what is it? Is it a natural metal? Is it an alloy? Is platinum a type of gold? So there's a chemical discussion of platinum. As far as other things such as diamonds and rubies and emeralds, things like this that are very costly, very expensive, then they're separate from gold and silver, even though they may be just as costly, if not more costly. You understand? So the general rule is that gold and silver is gold and silver. Wallahu alam. Tayyib. All right. It's going to be our last question that we'll take tonight. Question comes from RN, Maryland, USA. What is the permissibility of a person using another person's work permit, citizenship, info in order to get a job? Don't do it if you don't have to do it. Stay away from it if you don't have to, if you're not forced to do it. Okay? Obviously, living in America, living in the world today as a Muslim, oftentimes people have to do certain things against the system, quote unquote, or certain white lies, quote unquote. If you're forced to, if it's an extreme hardship and difficulty and it's a major benefit in it, you do it and you keep it moving. And if not, stay away from it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. We'll stop here tonight. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sallallahu sallam mubarak. Ala abdihi wa rasulihi nabiyina wa imamina Muhammad.